The U.S. president has attacked a book, Fire and Fury, which gives a deeply critical account of Donald Trump, questioning his fitness for office. In a tweet, Trump branded the instant bestseller as a, quote, fake book written by a totally discredited author. Trump and his aides have dismissed the unflattering portrayal of the president by author Michael Wolff. Now, the book, which extensively quotes former top Trump advisor Steve Bannon, portrays the president as disengaged, ill-informed, and unstable, with signs of serious memory loss. In an interview with CNN, senior Trump policy advisor Stephen Mueller called the book garbage and insisted that his boss is a political genius. The remarks cost Mueller being knocked off air by CNN host Jake Tapper, but won him the admiration of the president. And meanwhile, Bannon was forced to issue a statement to express, quote, his unwavering support for the president. He said his calling a meeting between Trump's son and a Russian lawyer unpatriotic and treasonous was aimed mainly at another campaign aide. Washington's UN ambassador also joined the officials who lined up to defend Donald Trump. Nikki Haley insists that no one at the White House questions the stability of the president and accused Wolff of lying for money and power. Joining us now is Mr. Tony Gosling out of London, investigative journalist. Hello, Tony. Thanks for joining us back on the program. Now, so I mean, whose narrative are you going with here, Tony? Is the man a genius or is he mentally compromised?
Well, the man in question here really is Michael Wolff, the author of this book. Who is this guy? And I haven't seen a lot of interrogation of his background. I've had a very good look, actually, at some of the previous books that he's written. One of them about the publisher Rupert Murdoch, and it's a superficial book. It's actually quite complimentary of Murdoch in many ways, and it certainly doesn't get to the heart of what Murdoch is about and his alignment with the Zionist lobby, for example. It doesn't really do that. So actually, it's called superficial. He's also said my book will topple Trump. Well, that may be wishful thinking, and in fact, potentially, that is exactly what this book was designed to do right from the start. I think the right to say there's quite a lot of fake news in the book, and so that fake news, of course, has been reported by the corporate media as fake news, which they shouldn't really be doing. It's certainly exaggerated. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Michael Wolff's privileged access to the White House has clearly been abused. The book has been used as an attempt at character assassination, also, of course, to make money. And this guy is hoping to make his career, a massive increase in his career because of this. It's basically a hatchet job. And as CNBC have said, the facts simply don't stack up in here. Although if you have a look at another major network, they'll say it rings true, depending on whether they are an anti-Trump or pro-Trump network, effectively, or whether they've got any journalistic integrity.
So you see it more as a tabloid type of book.
Most definitely. I mean, saying things like Trump is an idiot surrounded by clowns, that he's like a child, he's mentally unstable, that 100% of his staffers think he's unfit for office, which is obviously a lie. He's also called a dope and a moron. And I think Trump is absolutely quite right to say that this is full of lies. I mean, basically, I think Trump is not an evil man, but he's being manipulated, and potentially, yes, he's out of his depth. He's doing his best, and I think he's under attack. Also, of course, under attack by Robert Mueller in this fictitious and vicious Russia probe. By the way, Mueller tried to cover up when he was director of the FBI for knowledge of the 9/11 attacks by the FBI. So Mueller is actually a deep state criminal himself and in no position to be investigating Trump. I actually think the idea of the president eating a cheeseburger at 6:30 p.m. in the afternoon whilst calling his friends and watching 3 TVs shows that Trump has got a bit of humanity, which is what we need. You know, actually, I'm not saying he's the right president at all, because there was really very little choice in the election between him and Hillary, but it does show he's got his human side, and I think this is an attempt to take him down, rather like the Mueller Russia probe is. So Trump he's almost like he's on the wagon train with the Indians circling around him, and I think, you know, he needs to have a little bit of clear space to do what he thinks is right. The biggest problem, though, is that it's quite clear that Michael Wolff has got this absolutely right, that Netanyahu is setting Trump's Middle East agenda, and Trump needs to get some new advisors on that, that's for sure.
Well, nevertheless, we have to credit Wolff with the sensational marketing for this book. He's going to sell tons of copies with the result of all this hype that he's created.
Yeah, it's about making money. Yeah, it's about making money, this book, isn't it? For Mr. Michael Wolff, lucky man.
Thank you for joining us, Tony. One more time out of London, Mr. Tony Gosling, investigative journalist.